So when you're checking queen cells, when you pull a queen cell out of a, you know, a nuke, and you look in there and you look, can you see the bottom of that? You can see that the bottom was chewed out perfectly, right? And so typically if I pull that out and look in there and see that, I know that the queen chewed herself out of the cell and is in that nuke. At that point, I will not worry anymore about feeling like I need to see how she's doing or if she's alive and all that. I'll leave mating nuke for two or 3 weeks before I even check. All right, that's it. All right, so we're checking to see if we got any pollen coming in this one. This next mating nuke. We don't even have bees going in and out.
One was.
One? Did it have pollen?
Yes.
Didn't leave with pollen, did it?
No.
Okay. All right, so it came in with pollen. All right, well, let's not worry about that then. We'll just go ahead and go in and take a peek. So this one was a queen cell. Again, back on 8-1. Get a little smoke.
A lot more coming in with pollen. I was blocking them when I was videoing.
Oh, were you? So they're coming from that direction.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and film it. So there's a good amount of pollen coming in, which is a good sign. Pollen is plentiful right now. All right, so let's go ahead and pull our first frame. I mean, based on how much pollen was coming in, I wasn't able to see it, but it looks like a lot from here. I mean, I'd pretty much say it's, you know, it's never a guarantee, you know, but it's very rare that a colony is hoarding pollen and doesn't have a laying queen in it. And here you go. So look, we have capped brood already. The open cells, we have some eggs, and there's a bunch of wet larvae in here. Don't see the queen on this frame, but definitely has a queen. Poppy wants to be a beekeeper too. She's not really suited up for it though. So I see my queen. There's a nice frame of brood there. And another nice frame of brood. There's my queen. So we'll go ahead and get the tool to marker. And we'll get that taken care of real quick and come back, show you the rest of what we got going on in here. All right, just a couple more frames. Just take a peek at how she's doing. Yep, that one's pretty full of brood there. And you can see they definitely need food. I'd like to see them get some more of this comb built out. But this ain't too bad. As long as that middle one's like that, it's okay. And then that's a really nice pollen frame there. You can see they're loading the pollen up. There's eggs in the middle of that. So yeah, you can see that. Look at that beautiful pollen. So that'll let them build up in through October, at least into October here. And then we'll get them into a little bit of a stronger situation too. All right, so we'll go ahead and drop her in. And so that's another successful queen cell. So what's that? 4 queen cells, 3 successful, and then we fixed one with a virgin, which was great. Good idea to bank those virgins. Moving on to the next one here. And this one was a virgin queen, and there is plenty of pollen going in. So you can see up here that I released a virgin queen on 8/9. So that's been almost 2.5 weeks ago. And you can kind of tell how quick she got mated and started laying by, you know, the amount of time. So if you see, for instance, if you see cat brood, you know that cat brood takes like 10 days, right? So that means, being the 27th, on the 17th, she had to have laid that brood, right? So if we dropped her in on the 7th, within 10 days she was laying, just for an example. Okay? So if the amount of pollen coming in is any indication, she is definitely mated. Okay, that's a nice heavy frame, so they're at least not short on some honey. I did make a mistake and not look for my queen there. Very heavy here. So I see eggs in there and wet larvae. Okay, that's good. Yeah, a bunch of older larvae in here, you can see. All these frames are fairly heavy, so there's plenty of honey in here at least. Okay, now I have cat brood. So you can see even this cat brood looks a little older. So I'm sitting here telling you I think that queen was laying within probably 5 to 7 days of after being released. And you got to remember, these queens were emerging. These queens were emerging around, let's see, if I dropped them in, they would have been the 3rd. So I would have held that queen in a cage for 5 days or so, 3, 4, 5 days, something like that, before letting her loose. So she was probably just primed and ready to start her mating flights. There's this lone black drone that doesn't even fit in here. All right, let's see. Haven't seen a queen yet, but clearly there's a queen in here. More cat brood, an open brood, and there's the queen. Can you grab me the... Here's the queen, and I usually don't mark them until I have cat brood. Pull this one out and see what that looks like. All right, so next one. See if we got any pollen coming in. All right, look.
Few bees.
Any pollen?
Yeah.
All right, that's good. These guys were pretty light. I could tell they needed some help. All right, so this one was a virgin queen. Okay. And they are They're definitely not drawing any comb, but I understand that because they were kind of weak. So we definitely have some colonies that can use some help. All right. So this has some pollen and nectar. Really, it's probably sugar water more than anything. I don't see a queen on that. Don't see any eggs. Kind of don't expect to see it on that one on the outside there, even though it's not, there's a open frame on the outside at least. Alright, I got larva, eggs, larva here in all different states. Oh, there's a queen right there in the middle. She's still pretty small, which makes sense if you kind of look at the frame. There's some larva there. And I'm going to look at the next frame. If I see capped, I'll mark her. Otherwise, I'm just going to leave her because she still looks like she hadn't sized up to maturity yet. No, it's just sweat bird. So she must have been a late layer. So we'll go ahead right now and just kind of leave her alone and come back in another week and we'll just double check everything. Meanwhile, we'll keeping feed on this one like we have been. So, all right, but I'd still call that a success. She's laying now, and then she needs some more attention here. We'll just put the feeder back on her. Keep that going. I like these buckets to go over the feeder. Because some of these, I bought these buckets, but they tear too much. Still recording? Yeah, but they break, so they're not really good for holding moisture. But if I put it over that way, at least the robber bees can't come and eat the feed. So there's that.